statement of the History Two-Way Forum. With angry at the Progressive Alliance that played out the self-fabricated scenario in order to backbite the Taegeukgi people, we demand that the police and the prosecution investigate them without a single suspicion and impose strong punishment on them. On July 1st, a threatening package was delivered to the office of Yoon So-ha, floor leader of the Justice Party as a leftist party. In this threatening package sent by a group called the Taegeukgi Self-Decision Team, a weapon and a dead bird were enclosed. There were some notes in the package as follows. You became a red guard of Moon Jae-in's dictatorship as the second company of the Democratic Party. You're within our range. Political circles criticized this as barbaric act aimed at the floor leader of the Public Party, and an apparent threat to parliamentary democracy. In a row, the rotten media in South Korea speculated that it was done by a conservative group. However, the suspect, who was caught in the end, had served as the 15th chairman of the Korean Federation of University Student Councils. In the past, he was sentenced to a suspended jail term for producing and distributing expressions to benefit the enemy and exchanging emails with North Korean students in violation of the national security law. The suspect seemed to have no sign of remorse when he was arrested on July 31st because of the risk of destruction of evidence and escape. Members of the Seoul Student Progressive Union shouted slogans such as, "We denounce the targeted investigation" and "Free him." We want to ask them, if this was done by a conservative group, do they defend a suspect as they do now? Progressive Union students recently staged a sit-in at Mitsubishi Seoul office and led a surprise demonstration on Fuji television. Students are under the illusion that their anti-Japanese movement is supported by people. Even they claim that far-right deep-rooted evil groups are oppressing them. Students of the Progressive Union, do you know and use the word far-right? If you use this term just to frame it, you admit you're a puppet and you're stupid. Far-right refers to a person or group that uses violence regardless of what means to defend the state system as stated in the Constitution. Typical examples are Japan's techno-totalitarianism and Germany's national totalitarianism, or Nazi. And there are two prerequisites for the far right: nationalism and priority of violence. So, are they the real far-rightists because they insist on the unification of the Korean peninsula only among the Korean people and use violence without reluctance against those who oppose them? The Taegeukgi people, who they claim to be the extreme right, hold rallies every Saturday in the square to pursue the values of liberal democracy since the fall of 2016, which is called the impeached state. Without care a damn for rain, wind, cold, hot, the rallies have continued for 2 years and 7 months. The Taegeukgi people were the only people who came out to the square with the Korean national flag in their hands for my children and my descendants. In addition, Taegeukgi people are aiming at the non-violence and non-resistance of Gandhi, India, holding peaceful demonstrations in streets and squares. For 2 years and 7 months, the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions carries steel pipes, occupies the streets and punishes police officers when they go on strike. In contrast, have you ever heard of any news that Taegeukgi people behaved against police? Have you ever heard of any news or articles that Taegeukgi people injured individuals or organizations? People of South Korea, listen clearly to the word far-right instigated by the left who are breeding with us on this land. And look for it. You should know that those who deny the Republic of Korea are using the word far-right recklessly. First, a person or group that advocates liberal democracy. Second, a person or group that raises the issue of human rights in North Korea. Third, a person or group that advocates the liberation of North Korea. Fourth, a person or group that asks the creation of a special law keeping humanity against the groups that control North Korean compatriots. Therefore, the leftists dare to entrap the people of the Taegeukgi as the far right. In addition, the evil motives and actions of the leftists who try to collapse the Taegeukgi people, like the self-fabricated scenario of delivery to Yoon So-ha's office, are an act of outrage. So, we demand the police and the prosecution will find out who was behind it through a fair investigation. And we demand that the suspect be punished strongly. With this incident, we hope that progressive students will properly establish the correct and universal values of free Korea. Also, rather than make a ridiculous claim of a police's fabricated investigation, they will have to make a genuine reflection and apology first. We ask progressive students, don't waste your life with perverse ideas and ideologies. Get away from biased thinking and incitement violence. be armed with the right values and universal thinking, and contribute to our nation and the humankind. And to these ends, we recommend reading the book, The Spirit of Independence, written by Rui, seeing man in jail. It was written 115 years ago by Rui, a 29-year-old boy at the time. August 2nd, 2019. All members of History Two-Way Forum.